And we're live. Hello and welcome to a special episode of Hex Therapy Live. Only crypto will give you certain kinds of pain. And there are only certain discussions, I think, that can prepare people for that and help them through the sudden wealth syndrome that a lot of people are experiencing and the general economic pain that having unhealthy money gives people, no matter what amount of financial assets they have. And so these are some things that I think need to be explored. And the starting point for exploring pain, which can include, not only the huge burden that having enormous financial resources can give somebody because they want to do something with that will benefit the world. They don't feel worthy that they should have so much when others have so little. There are other pains as well that people experience, such as feeling like they sold too early. And that's something that a lot of Bitcoiners have already gone through. And so some of these things are specific to any sudden wealth, such as an inheritance or winning the lottery, and others are specific only to cryptocurrencies such as Hex, which Hex has gone up more than any other asset in the history of man at this point, being less than 2 years old and now being up about 5,000x before the staking interest that's earned by delaying gratification. And so Hex provides us kind of a complex set of rules within which to operate. And we're all playing a game that for many of us will be lasting 5,555 days. And so the more that we can use Hex Therapy in our community in order to make the most of all the opportunities that we're going to have in this space, I think the better. And so, I think that calling sudden wealth syndrome a syndrome implies that we don't really understand it. And that might be true now, but I think in the future, it's something that I personally would like to specialize in and help others learn about. So I hope that you and I can make this an ongoing discussion. Go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already. And, eventually we'll be able to classify the types of behavior changes and the types of situations that people get themselves into when they have an overabundance of resources and then need to live their most meaningful lives still. I think that, eventually it's going to be called a disorder and at some point it might even be normal. And so we're going to see it go full circle here. Welcome to Hex Therapy. So my background, as many of you know, is as a therapist who spent over 11,000 hours helping people work on their problems and trying to make their lives better, dealing with addiction and mental health problems and everything that life has to offer. And the one thing that I know to look for when I'm trying to see if somebody is in pain is sometimes it comes out as anger. And I think a lot of people in the world right now are very angry for a lot of very justified reasons. And so I want to talk about that for a little bit here as we get into the topic of pain later on. And then what are the remedies for these types of emotional responses to the state of the world and what can we do about it? So that will be our outline today. So first off, why are people angry? Well, I think that there's a lot of things to be angry about, right? There are a lot of lies that we suspect in society For example, people telling us that Hex was a scam and not the most genius game theory ever invented, the Bitcoin 3.0, if you will. And, you know, to this day, people continue, right, to say things, you know, to try to FUD Hex, and they don't really get it. And these are people who are trusted by millions of people. These are the gatekeepers in the crypto community, right? And so I think it makes us angry when we don't understand why they are perpetuating these lies, or when we have kind of an understanding that's really unsettling. Is the world really filled with people who are incompetent or evil, right? Like those are the two possibilities, I guess. And you know, so that's really disturbing, and I think that makes a lot of people angry, and it makes a lot of people hurt whenever, you know, whenever we really prove it to ourselves, because there's a difference between having a suspicion that the crypto scene is corrupt, and then there's having proof, right? And so now all of us who have been in Hex for quite some time, we have the lived experience of hearing Peter McCormick yell vulgar insults at Richard for hours and lead many people to not having, you know, the economic freedom that we're having now. It's kind of like going from Stockholm's syndrome, right, where you're kind of like thinking the same things as your captor, and, you know, not really feeling too bad about this whole you know, subjugated life that many people feel like they're living. People feel like they're not living their best lives, that they're not getting a fair deal in life, and it comes out as tensions at the people who are closest to you. I mean, I think that the political gridlock that we see, it's a symptom of kind of the complexity that's used in the information age and in modern society to manage so many people. Takes a lot of incompetence and a lot of evil. But I also think that those things exist as human behaviors themselves within the, not as persistent traits, only as persistent states that are a product of the environment. And so if somebody comes to your country and kills your family, you're going to be pissed off for a really long time. You might do some evil things, right? And you might do some incompetent things. And, you know, there are a lot of political things that are going on, and I want to keep this mostly crypto related, right? Because there's plenty of things to be angry about in crypto. Crypto was sold to many people as a way to, you know, give the middle finger to Uncle Sam or whatever, right? To step outside of the legacy financial system. And people in Hex, I think, our community, right, and our monetary and economic ecosystem has really proven that it's not based on your merit, whether you get listed on a site that people trust. It's not whether you report the best information for free, right? It's not about being right. It's about bribing bribing the centralized exchanges, you know, and losing the thing that you say that you're giving to people, which is the real economic freedom that Bitcoin brought. You know, that was an idea, kind of like the internet. The internet is an idea that had a lot of potential, right? Until it started being used as a tool for surveillance and for advertising and for monetizing people's data, and you becoming the product. Bitcoin, you know, it also has been very intellectually promising because it solved one of the social and computational problems that people ran into when they were trying to stop double spends and have a decentralized ledger that people could trust. But it was an incomplete product. And so Hex being a complete product that is so much superior to Bitcoin is so powerful, I think, that it can be a little bit disturbing. Even that can make people angry. I've seen people kind of be angry and awestruck and in shock and start going through the stages of grief because they realize where Hex is headed, that they realize that this is definitely going to change a lot of things, right, in the world. And so there's, like I said, there's the Stockholm syndrome. There's a lot of things blended together. And it's important to remember emotions don't happen in a vacuum. And so you can be feeling more than one thing at the same time. You could be feeling happy and uneasy, right? And you could feel like you're not yourself. You can feel angry, right? Irritable, depressed, ecstatic. Like there are a lot of emotions, right, that normally don't go together, aren't similar affect and everything, but they sure do pop up, right? And so I'm glad you're all here for the tech and good, and here for my being a rock star. Thank you. That's very kind. Cornrow shuffle. That's right. So we are hitting all-time highs right now, and where is this headed? Richard himself admitted this week that he was scared to publish the real chart of where Hex is headed, and I don't blame him. I see a lot of people who are kind of thought leaders within the space of Hex having really bad reactions to imagining the future just because it's so overwhelming and so intense. I think for a lot of people, it's a lot of pressure. I think it's a lot of pressure for people to become suddenly wealthy, and for people to really, I think that there's a component here of proving that the crypto system was corrupt because of the success of Hex. I think Hex proves a lot of things that really we couldn't be sure of unless we put them to an empirical test, unless we let them run in the wild. And so there are all these emergent properties, I think, that some of which were predicted and some of which weren't, right, by the founder, and then also by the people who have come along and reported on what the community is experiencing and what things might be helpful, right? And so I really appreciate everybody being here and being excited about what's going on. And so let me know if anybody has any questions along the way. I hope that everybody becomes wealthier that they ever dreamed possible. You suddenly will realize that wealth is not what gives meaning to your life. When we all die, our graves will be the same size. Latin American crypto, good comment there. Hodl, good to see you. My pleasure. I enjoy your streams greatly, so thanks for being here. I'm only 19. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Authentics. I'm only 19 and Hex has made me over $200,000. Am I allowed to go to the Hex Vegas event, or is it 21 plus? I'll get you an answer to that here on Saturday. We're going to do a live stream at 12 Central, 10 a.m. Vegas time. And so we'll find out about that. I know that we'll be able to check with the venue and get back to you. Good question. I suspect that it'll be fine because we're actually going to be meeting in a conference center that doesn't have any casino machines or anything. Hey, Crypto Panda, I love that quote. Only crypto will give you this pain. Yeah, Richard, I think he was talking about price appreciation and how you could have bought Hex on a double, or you could have sold it on a double, however you want to frame it. But so far with Hex, when he streamed 24 to 26 cents yesterday, I love doing this. I'm going to do it again. You could have bought Hex on a double. You could have bought it on a double. You could have bought it on a double, 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 or bought it on its 12th double. And yeah, so another 2 more doubles and we're at 14. That brings us to $1. I'm not sure if that's part of the master plan with the whole pulse thing or what, but maybe maybe if people have seen the original streams, they know what I'm talking about. If not, hit the like button or get out. Just give it away if you have too much to the needy. David, that's a very kind thing to do. I know that the literature about sudden wealth syndrome says that that's one sudden reaction, kind of impulsive reaction that people can have. And it advises to take your time with that sort of thing and not give away too much too fast, because then what are you supposed to do? You want to, I think a lot of people who do volunteer work and do foundation work and set up funding for stuff, I think they get the best results when they make sure that there are the right contingencies in place and that they've done their homework. And definitely, I don't know if anybody here has connections with the Sens Foundation. If you do, I'd ask you reach out to me, send me a message on Twitter or Telegram. It's Matty ALLin, MATI ALLin, or you can go to mattyall.in to see all my links. And let me know if you have any connections there, if you talk to anybody, because I want to start setting up more collaborations with them. Let's see. Thanks for the compliment on the headphones. Yeah, I am changing my setup here, so I'll accept sudden wealth after decades of poverty. That's right, Dan. Respect. Have you finished? Have you retired from being an Uber driver yet, or are you still doing still doing maximum hours? Hex is just getting started. How's it going, Marcavelli? Let's see. The cornrows, how are they? They're pretty good. Yeah, I remember when I first started. Yeah, they haven't been very itchy or anything. I think Daphne did a great job. You can also hold on a double, hold on a double. Oh, that's good. Somebody should tell Richard to do that version. Oh, show my fingers when counting. All right, got it. Hit the like. I feel like I just saw you somewhere. Whales only. People thought this was a joke. Now they're mad at the chart. That's a quote that Huddle Dog says is attributing to whales. Oh, thanks, Motley. Yeah, I like the cornrows too. Let me see. I have some like grill action here that I was gonna do to fulfill my character ALLin Iverson. This is I guess this is an unboxing video of the Top Grills brand, Hip Hop Grills. Comes with a bunch of weird like wax stuff, so I'm not sure. I guess this is pretty serious. I guess these are real things. Let's see. I'm going to cut to a commercial break and we'll be right back. I'll have to take a picture after the show. It requires like melting some wax in hot water or something. We ain't got time for that now. I'll take a picture and I'll put it on Twitter there for everybody. Follow me on Twitter if you're not there yet. Follow Richard Hart as well. See, hello to everybody who's saying hi. Familiar and new names as well. Good to see everybody. Made interest on a double. There you go. Hello, Wealth. Johnny, what's up? Yeah, my pleasure. CNDB, appreciating the grill. She and Purple are the ones who put me up to the challenge, right? Yes. MC Matty Ice. Yeah, no, I didn't lose a bet. I just said back when Hex was 5 cents that if it hit 25 cents, then I would get cornrows. And sure enough, I got them on CoinKing. Good episode. Okay. Got him, coach. I give 50 levels to Maddie. Waxes so they can come off easier. Okay. Gold chain when? Well, I've got my silver hex chain. Just ordered a pulse version of it today, actually. He said he was doing cornrows at 25 cents, and he's a man of his word. That's right, thanks. When $1 million hex? Yeah, that's my question too. Interesting, very good commercial. I'm glad. Yeah, it was Not sponsored by anybody. I think the wax is so the scene word paper doesn't get wet. That's right. Yeah. Intro, so good. Oh, you guys liked that intro? That's like the backup intro. That's the old intro before we went to space. That's back when we were on Earth. According to Nomics, Hex is up 12,000%. Interesting. Sorry I'm late. Hex Toshi, good to see you. T-Bird, Hex Dex. So fighting the urge to retire could have after Vegas, but I'm waiting for the next conference to make it official. Just getting out of the sudden wealth syndrome phase. Good for you, Hex Dex. I have Hex as a license plate. Oh, that's really cool. What's going on, Alfred? Have you heard of Johnny Dang? He has the most badass diamond grills and custom jewelry. Check him out. Very nice. Hello, DXTA. Bang, bang. There we go. So there, yeah, I think that there are a lot of things in the world that, you know, can give people pain. And so one of them that, you know, the title is referencing the quote from Richard yesterday, saying that it can be painful to miss out on an opportunity of a lifetime. And what can be worse is you still think that you've missed out and you don't realize how much opportunity is ahead. And that's why we have the Quant Gang, Kareem and Whales Only, Future Us, myself, really to break down the math of how early we still are. The math doesn't lie. And, you know, while this is not financial or therapy or medical advice, Nagabo would say that these are financial commands, right? Or it's a, you know, financial facts and mathematical facts, right? So the truth is there's only about 50,000 stakers in Hex, and there are millions and millions and millions and millions of people who are in Dogecoin, who are in Bitcoin, who are in Ethereum, coins that were designed so inferiorly compared to Hex that it took millions of people to pump them up. And right now, Hex, sitting at the number 3 market cap, is getting ready to blow away all the old coins, right, that aren't designed as well, right? Because at a certain point, you know, technology can get better and not win, but game theory doesn't get better and not win. That's a good quote. If anybody's taking down quotes or doing Hex clips or quant clips, like, that's a good one, right? So our ability to really understand what we're dealing with and how early we are, like, that's going to make a big difference on our psychology. It's going to make a big difference on our ability to delay gratification. And that's another thing that I find particularly interesting about Hex, is that you don't have to have a continuous amount of faith. You don't have to have a continuous inhibitory behavior to stop yourself from selling things that are so locked up for so long that you really can't emergency end stake and get what it's worth, right? And so the value is in time, right? It's a value that's pegged to a 4th dimensional pole. And if you haven't ever seen the YouTube video Imagining the 10th Dimension, I would highly recommend that, by the way. It'll trip you out, whether you're smoking weed or not. I think it'll pretty much blow your mind. And so 3rd dimension is space, 4th dimension is time. And so paying your future self, right, that's a behavior that currently is really punished by the legacy financial system. because we're getting effectively negative interest rates on our savings. And so that incentivizes people to buy now and not save because the prices of things are going up. And so that's why it's so important to really have a technology like Hex that is changing all that, right? And it's going to happen slowly, and then it's going to be really, really sudden, and it's going to be really, really hard. We haven't seen anything yet. This is going really, really high, because it's going to continue to compound. Remember, the more people who get in, the more it will compound, and the more that the curve will take off. I mean, people were laughing this morning on Discourse Syndicate Wake Up Hex about trying to look at the chart without the log version on, and it's true. It's a meaningless line that goes straight up, more or less. I mean, it's not a wave anymore. So that matters because humans are really bad at conceptualizing exponential curves. And so that's kind of the shocking news, is that I think Hex will go viral and be in the mainstream media, and Richard will have 1 million followers in 4 months. I didn't say whether it was across all of his channels or not, but you get the point. He's at 100K now, right? Just on Twitter alone. And so, by the way, I made a special video for Richard along with a celebrity, and we're going to premiere it on Sunday when I do my stream with Blaze. So make sure to check that out. I know I'm streaming a lot this week. This is Hex Therapy Thursday. We already did Coin King on Tuesday, and then we're going to do Saturday about the Hex conference, and tickets are continuing to run out for that as expected. We're doing only 45 tickets a week, and you can buy them at pulsehex.eventbrite.com. And we're going to have a lot of information coming out soon about the program. And that's why I want people to remember that you can buy tickets now, because once we announce the program, tickets are going to likely sell out instantly. So those of you who've been following the channel, you know that most of my predictions, they're not bad. I'll tell you if I don't know something. Yeah, 4 months. Let's go. It's good and bad news, right? Because people who are accumulating, right, and people who are still wanting to get their friends and family in are running out of time. And so that gives people a chance to really see where we're at and to not get discouraged because the price has gone up so much. Bitcoin, it went up. It's up 5 million X right now, and that's from a penny. It traded below a penny. That's like being generous. Bitcoin is really up more than 10 million X, right? But it's Hex is going to go higher, and it's going to go faster, and that's because it was designed this way with the right game theory, right? To incentivize individuals to not only delay gratification, one of the healthiest of human behaviors if done in the right context, which causes the coin to become more scarce and thus making it more valuable. And enabling a chart of future market supply. You can see at it's go.tshare.app for all of you people who already know about Hex and already have MetaMask wallets set up. I notice, so here's a question from Dante. I notice Hex liquidity pool is dwindling. Only 66 million Hex left to buy. Interesting. Yeah, I know. There's somebody on Twitter named ALLin, I think, and they used to do charts about how much of a market buy would send the price to certain levels, and so that tells you about the automated market maker. It doesn't tell you how many people will come into the market to start selling that aren't included in that initial liquidity pool. But it's right. Anybody who wants to buy now, they're going to move the price against themselves. And anybody who wants to wait, they're going to be taking a risk that they're just going to have to buy higher. And it's going to be most people's story. So if I go to twitter.com/ I think I got the name wrong. Oh no, I got the display, and the display name was right. The handle is ALLis11111. Let's see if we have any new charts that tell us about how much of a price pump we'll get. So this is from August 26th. Okay, good. I'll share this with you guys. So this is, oh, and since I mentioned the conference, I'll go ahead and put the link here in the chat so people can get their tickets by tapping on the link there. pulsehex.eventbrite.com. Let's see. So this was back a couple weeks ago when the price of Hex was at a mere 19.8 cents. And the Uniswap pool held $13 million worth. And a buy order that would 10x the price would only be $30 million, be $123 million to 100x the price. So for $83 million only, you would get $10 Hex, and $50 Hex would take less than a third of a billion. That is a very scarce liquidity pool, is it not? I'm going to hit the like and retweet there so people can find it. And I appreciate everybody in the community who provides services like this where I know I can just go check and you've got the data. Check the receipts. It was an interesting store. Okay. How's it going, Ty? What keyboard are you using? I'm not sure I can tell you for security reasons. Let's see. We'd be shifting to beast mode on Hex. That's right. Onboarded 3 people staked for 1 year. Sometimes you see those people online claiming it's a scam. So you're both happy and glad to potentially bring wealth to them and scared at the same time. Weird feelings. Good point, Thomas. My client paid my commission in USDT today, so I flipped it into Hex. So yeah, Hex is a life changer. Awesome. Inject that FOMO straight into my veins, Maddie. That's right. Yeah, it's wild. I was selling these Hex frames back in the good old days, like 9 months ago or something. And they're really cool. And I was happy to make them because they're one of the things that kind of tells the history of how I got involved with Bitcoin, having physical 1,000th of a Bitcoin, physical coins, and Zimbabwe $100 trillion bills, and from the year that Bitcoin was created, and all these really cool things, and in a frame, and I sold them for a couple $100, but I was giving people discounts, $100, $200, something like that, and people paid me in Hex, and it's like you know, I was looking at used cars today, and I could buy a really, really, really nice used car for like $800 worth of past sales. So it's really wild what these things can do. So if you're doing business in Hex, that's not bad, right? Like, go ahead and people can pay you in Hex, and then if those people know what they're doing, then they'll just buy more Hex to make up for what they gave you. Am I a dog or a cat person? And follow-up question, why a dog person specifically? Being asked by the Pulse Doge. I don't think you'd be biased at all. A very cute profile picture. You've been a very good boy. Thanks for listening. Yeah, I like dogs and cats. And I guess Dogecoin has performed better than CryptoKitties, so that would be why. Let's see. Oh, somebody just bought some tickets. Good job. They're selling out. Nothing more fulfilling than giving time. It seems most early hexicans have all the time to give. That's right. Yeah. People buying their freedom, a lot of people have used it to help others, which is I think, a very meaningful pursuit, especially if you continue to practice self-care. I know for myself, I've been working on my health when it comes to physical fitness, when it comes to productivity, and trying to be the best streamer I can, trying to bring value to the community by putting on the conference and all the stuff that we're doing behind the scenes to make the conference really show what our community is about. And so I'm really excited to share the program that's coming up and some of the changes that we're making to make it. I think it'll be the best conference in crypto history. How does that sound? Is this true? Is a t-shirt really $5,300? That's wild. The first ever physical crypto store opened up near me about 30 minutes from St. Louis. When I was in there today and told them about Hex, they told me about Tone Vase. That's a good story. Like, I wonder how it ends. I'm part of the 50K club, the staking class. Good job, Eric. Yeah, I mean, Tone Vase is not really a fan of Hex. Let's see. Gotta get more Hex. Hex eats Promise Coins lunch. I noticed Hex liquidity pool. Okay. Yes. Oh, there we go. It was an interesting store, but mostly just random altcoin merch, ASIC miners, and 3D printed coins. Okay. Interesting. Do you know who runs that? Is it the people that run Cold Storage Coin? I just did a QuantGang stream from St. Louis 2 days ago. Had the arch in the background and everything. Tested ASIC miners, that's right. I'm gonna make dinner because, like, some people rummage through the trash for my dinner. Wow, Tigray is calling out the Pulse Doge. Savage. Super hyperbolic, beyond Uranus on the way to Pleiades. I love the friendly banter. That really makes, like, live stream chats good, in my opinion. I got my buddy to buy 20 ETH worth of Hex on Monday. I told him by month's end, he will swap the last 20 he has left. Hashtag noobs. Good point. Vibra Finance CEO. Pulse Doge. I do rummage through the trash because I keep finding tasty stuff there. Perfect. Eric says, sold all my BTC and ETH and went all in on Hex 2 days ago, and I've never felt better. A little miffed. I learned about Hex via Pulse Sacrifice, but happy I'm here. Welcome to the party. And remember that you don't have to lock all of your Hex up. Although you may be rewarded very well if you lock it up in a staking ladder, and you can learn more from any of the Hex streamers. I know that there's a 10-minute playlist I have that'll take you through 3 videos in 10 minutes, and it'll tell you about what is Hex and explain it more than once so that you'll be able to see it from some different perspectives. And then you'll understand what it took us in the community a long time to figure out as it emerged was the real value of long-term staking and having a staking ladder to have yearly or monthly income coming out. And to save yourself from yourself so you don't sell too early, of course, which happened to nearly everybody in Bitcoin. Bitcoin could have made a lot of billionaires if, you know, because going up 5 million X, you'd have to put in what, $2,000? No. What is, okay, we gotta get on Wolfram Alpha for this one. So we can search by words. What is a billion divided by 5 million? $200. If you, okay, so if you bought $200 worth of Bitcoin when it was a penny, and now you'd have $1 billion worth of Bitcoin. So buy $200 worth of Hex and lock it up for, I don't know, maybe 12 years. That's how long Bitcoin's been around. Sam Green, oh my gosh, just tuned in now. Started from the beginning, so I'm behind. Wow, Maddie, invaluable information. Thank you, thank you, thank you. My pleasure. What are you finding helpful? I think that, you know, I think that the narrative here, right, and the reality of people being at different stages on the journey to financial freedom, to buying your freedom, to paying your future self, instead of borrowing from your future self by going into debt, and being a part of that this monetary environment that rewards you for paying your future self instead of borrowing from your future self. I think that for a lot of people, that's why they tune into Hex Therapy, is because the mental health aspect of delaying gratification, being in a healthier monetary environment, you know, it's something people are wanting to explore. And so one of the number one things, because I know that there are some people here who are new, one of the number one things that I recommend for people when they're starting out trying to change their own behavior is to actually do something very simple, which is to take a supplement called omega-369 or just omega-3. You can find this at most grocery stores and places where you get food. It's also called fish oil. What this does is it's actually the material that your brain needs in order to insulate the electrical wires in your brain. So your mind and your mental health are made up of electrical impulses from your brain that gives way to your consciousness. And those electrical impulses are generated at a cellular and neuronal level by your neurons. And your neurons have wires connecting to each other. And when enough chemicals called neurotransmitters build up on your the little button that holds the electrical charge called the synaptic clef, that's when the neuron fires, and then it travels down the wire each neuron is connected to in between 2 and 1,000 other neurons. And so the signal goes out along several wires. Then it causes more chemicals to be released that then build up and cause more neurons to fire. So this is, it's really important that the wires can carry the signal. Otherwise, you're not going to have much, you're not going to have all the brain activity you could have. And so what has happened in this modern age where there are billions of people living on Earth, many people are not underweight, but they are malnourished. And so in America, already 15% of adults take omega-3 because it's unlike other supplements. This is something that's supposed to be in your food. It's something that cavemen and cavewomen got plenty of because it used to work its way up the food chain, because you'd be eating, you know, different animals that ate certain grass and grass-fed and all natural, and the omega-3 would work its way up the food chain and make it into your brain, where about 25% of the dry weight of your brain is supposed to be made up of omega-3, which is converted in the brain by the support cells, the neuroglia, as they're called, and a certain type of neuroglia called ogliodendrocytes. Fun word. Ogliodendrocytes, they install the omega-3 that's converted to a myelin sheath. The myelin substance is the rubbery material that goes around the electrical wires and make sure that the electrical signal doesn't leak out of your brain, especially your prefrontal cortex, which is behind your temple and your forehead. And that's where all of the planning thoughts take place. So most of the things that we teach in therapy come down to someone's prefrontal cortex working better. Things that shut down your prefrontal cortex: alcohol, anger, sleep deprivation, all kinds of things. You know, anxiety, panic, fear, even mania can shut down your critical thinking. And so the types of behaviors that we try to teach in therapy: healthy relationships, problem solving, parenting, managing your mood. These behaviors are very difficult to achieve because it represents software. The talk therapy that we do, it you know, it has to run on some kind of hardware in the brain. Your meat computer, you know, needs to be able to have the right materials, right? The right materials to function. And so instead of having your, you know, the electrical activity in your brain, instead of having it leak out by being deficient in omega-3, it's way better to be able to think more clearly. And this isn't just kind of like some big sales pitch or something. It's a fact. It's changed my life. I've seen many of my clients had significant changes to improve their lives. And that makes sense, right? Because from a cellular level to a brain and behavior and systems level, we understand how this works. It makes perfect sense. Stop the electricity leaking out. And the number one thing people report is noticing that they're thinking more clearly. The brain fog has lifted. For me, I was able to do more boring activities that I hated before. It put me in a bad mood to do something boring and tedious and repetitive. And after that, it was like an aha moment, because I was like, wait a second, I'm enjoying more moments of life. And then I started realizing that I could change a lot of my behaviors now that the problem solving part of my brain was functioning, you know, had the right materials and functioning better. So that's the number one thing that I would ask. If there's one thing that you get out of Hex Therapy, and I am highly confident that you'll get much more than just one thing that can make a big difference in your life. But if I had to choose one thing for you, it would be to upgrade your prefrontal cortex from an iPhone 1 to an iPhone 20 by taking 1,000 milligrams of omega-3 with food each day for the first week, and then 2,000 milligrams a day after that. And of course, you would check with your doctor if you had any concerns. This is supposed to be in food, so it's not dangerous. Some people who are on blood thinners would need to check, would be the only caveat, because omega-3 is naturally causing your blood to be less thick because blood's normally a little bit too thick. So if you're taking, something natural that helps you, and then some like prescription blood thinner, then you need to check with your doctor. A lot of my clients, some of them checked. The doctor was like, yeah, take it. Others, doctor said no. So I can't give you medical advice. I can only tell you what worked for me. And again, that it's maybe $5 a month, maybe $20 if you're getting some fancy kind. But a lot of people here on the show have found omega-3 to be also, I think, life-changing or noticeable at least. And this is part of the reason why I'm doing the show and why I'm wanting to be an influencer in Hex, is because I want to get the message out of mental health. I want to program mental health into money. And I think that that's something that we can do with Hex being the type of smart contract that it is, that already incentivizes people to delay gratification. So we're all here for a while, getting incredibly wealthy and wanting to do the right things. And so why not build it in, right? And so that's why I imagine someday I would love to see the app that Future Us and I created, tshare.app. I would love to see that have like a mental health mode built in, where there would be special features that are different ways of looking at the data, different ways of different options for people. And so, for example, kind of my proof of concept for that would be, you'd be able to turn on an option before you could check the price, which is these days a highly rewarding activity, something that gives you a dopamine boost, and therefore will just kind of reinforce whatever random behavior you had going on before that to some extent. It's way better if we could have you have a menu pop up and say, oh, wait a second, you need to esteem yourself before you get to see the price. So you esteem yourself, and then you get a pretty natural reward of checking the price, seeing the price went up. Now you feel great. And over time, your brain will trick itself and accidentally start thinking that it's esteeming yourself that's making you feel great, which it can be on its own, right? But it'll make it much more of an automatic process and put you in the type of mood that is more consistently going up and to the right, like in Hex. So that's how you build mental health into money. In my opinion, there's gonna be many ways, and they're gonna be much more advanced and actually much more effective ways that I can already identify. But that's the teaser right there, right? That's the idea. Is why not? Why not? If the world has been stuck with really unhealthy money for so long that punishes saving for the future, I think it's fair to have the next money be really healthy for people's minds, right? So speaking of which, I have a really cool graphic that I usually like to show at this time. Here we go. This is fun. You may have seen it before, but I don't think you'll be disappointed. And if you are, you can hit the like button and get out, because we don't need the negativity. Here we go. What does this say? Reserve currencies change. Oh, that's funny. It looks like there are 7 bars there, and each corresponds to the time period, on average 100 years, that a different superpower was in control of the world reserve currency. First, it was Portugal from 1420 to 1520, approximately. Then Spain, then the Netherlands, then France, Britain, and currently it's the United States. And this particular chart that I made myself goes on to predict that the next world reserve currency will be Hex. Maybe for 100 years, maybe more. But when you zoom out far enough on the macroeconomics, you see that reserve currencies change. That's all it is, right? That's all it says there. Who knows what the next reserve currency will be? I hope it's something that promotes mental health, like Hex. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm not in Bitcoin. Let's see. So thanks again for your comment, Sam. I appreciate the positivity. As you can tell, that got me on another productive rant, I hope. Welcome to all the newly onboarded Hexicans. Welcome. And if you all are looking for great shows, you can tune into HexStreamers.com. I'm not affiliated with controlling that resource, but it's really good stuff. I love. That's my TV guide that I use, and just about any time of day, I can go to my bookmark that I have on my home screen, just like an app icon on my iPhone. I just tap that, pulls up whoever's live at this moment, and it tells you how many people are watching. You tap and it takes you right to YouTube or Twitch or wherever people are streaming from. It shows me Discourse Syndicate streamed an hour ago, Hex Tangent 10 hours ago, Hex Asians 12 hours, Dollar Cost Crypto was hosting Nights of the Crypto Roundtable yesterday, as well as Despide Tu Jefe and Richard Hart, Hodl Dog, DJ Cryptomatic, Crypto Sparbuck, Hex Foodies, Whales Only, Freedom TV, Motley the Investor, Balliet Brand, In Hex Spanish, Big Pep, Future Us, Gerardo, Dipcatcher, Cabana Crypto, Funding Jim, Ethereum Foundation, you guys suck, Crypto Joker, Naga Tribe, Directly from the Heart, Chaos Experience, Crypto Coffee, Randy Hilarski, Pulse Chain Hex, Conrad Zen, David Feeder, Crypto Bobcat, Day 43 OG, Gold Key, Hexologist, Blue Bum, Yash Deep, Unwrecked Pirate, Abit Hex, Silver the Antidote, Joe Hexotic, Crypto Vince, Ryan Lopez Crypto, right? And then it shows us what's upcoming, some highlighted videos, clips, it shows you different links for the TikTokers here in the Hex community, and then tools, a number of tools, Nomics, Hex Buy and Stake, Richard Hart, Staker app, tshare.app, Matcha for limit orders or 1-inch, Etherscan for a gas tracker. There's lots of tools there. Really, some of the best tools here I find are on hexstreamers.com, and then on allmylinks.com/allin is another place where you can find all the tools that I've put together, including Hex Streamers. Authentics, I've given thousands of dollars worth of Hex to people and didn't regret a thing. They are all very happy, and it helps to onboard new Hexicans. Well done. I got my ticket. Let's go. 5K T-shares. Awesome. Very good. The Great Delusionist. Hey, Maddie, thanks for all you do for the community. My pleasure, GHW. Hextoshi. Whoa, that's awesome, man. I won one of those Hex frames, paid 1 Hex. Mine is number 13. Wow, congratulations, Hextoshi. That's cool. Yeah, I forgot we gave away some of those. Let's see. Best community ever. Very good. The first Hex conference was a great time. We'll not forget the tank crushing the vehicles and all the lovely Hexicans that were brought to the event. Yeah, totally. That was the first meetup and not the first conference. The first conference was in January. You can go to HexTherapy.live to see the playlist. We've had more people tune into an episode of Quant Gang 3 weeks ago than we did watching the first 3 days of the conference on any single day. And so that gives you an idea of how much the community has grown in the past 7 months. Thanks for all you do, Maddie. Great work. My pleasure. It's DXTA. Hopefully it ends with them staking for 4-5 days. Some of the employees seem interested, including the owner. Can't wait to get the conference info. Need to book my hotel close to where it will be before everyone else. That's right, PG Hex. Funding Jim. Great stuff. Thanks for saying that. I'm super impressed with everything that you're putting together for the community, and I really respect your leadership and vision. And we'll be, I know, cross-promoting in a lot of really exciting ways here in the near future. So thank you for tuning in. Jenkins Crypto, how's it going? I appreciate your streams as well. Got a lot of cool people in here, a lot of OGs. Danny boy, good to see you. When Corn Rolls, yeah, I got it. It's here already. Mohawk at 50 cents? That's not high enough. I am gonna go bald, and luckily I have a nicely shaped head, so I'm not too worried about it, but I'm gonna enjoy my hair while I have it. How about that? It's all staked. There you go. It's called Crypto World. Not sure who owns it. I'll have to check that out. Marco Velli says perm at $1. There you go. They said Tone Vase was there a few weeks ago. I would have loved to show him my license plate and staker app. That's right. Those Missouri plates with Hex on them. My younger brother is currently onboarding his girlfriend, and my older brother, I recommended Crypto Coffee's online course. The way of the Hex Warrior is spreading. Very good, Seaburn. DXTA onboarded 15 in the last week. Well done. Let's see. Jeremy says, Maddie, please tell my friend Jason to buy Hex. Jason, buy Hex. Hope that helps. I like to say that there are two types of people in the world: people who understand Hex and people who will. And then we don't have to stress out as much, but it's good to educate people and point them in the right direction. Even if they're not ready, sometimes people can suddenly change. Especially if I think there are a lot of different sales pitches for Hex, and I'd encourage each person to work on their own elevator pitch and how that could be individualized, for different subtypes of people. Some people would benefit from seeing the positivity of the community first. Others might benefit from tales of riches, right? Or you showing them your staker app. Or tshare.app, go.tshare.app will show you your interest growing every hour, I think. It might be continuous. There's some special stuff in there for you. It also shows a little bit differently what the value of your accrued Hex is, which I really like. I'm kind of biased because I helped make some of the decisions on the design of this app, but it's because it was so useful to me that I can recommend it, because we don't take a fee. Let's see. I secured the plate Hexagon in my state. Well done, BG Hex. Hex is the gateway drug to self-development. Well put, Pulse Doge. Crypto CPT, can't hear anything. Turn up the volume maybe? What's up, Paladin? Craig, any thoughts on accumulating Hex on Polygon until ETH gas lets up? I think second layer solutions make sense for some people. I know that in the middle of the night, the gas prices go down and sometimes the trade will execute at a lower price than is being predicted. And so for me, I bought my first ETH for about $20 on Coinbase, and they took a $7.50 fee. And so I'm still up on that, although I did accidentally forget the decryption password, so I'm just gonna let that ride for a little while. Sound is fine. Thanks, Marcavelli. Hemp seed oil is the best and highest concentrated balance of all omega proteins. Billy Bob, why does it seem that there's a disconnect between you and Discourse Syndicate? Are they not taking their omega-3? That's a good question. I think that we'll see people getting along really well. I think that, you know, it's a lot to keep up with, and that in the end, I think the Hex community will keep us together just because of the long-term and positive nature of the environment that we're in. I think in the end, we're all going to be working together, no matter how closely. And I really respect and appreciate everything that Discourse Syndicate has done for me. And I really like the content that they continue to produce. It's cool to see people continue to get better over time. Let's see. I wrote an unfinished novel up to 300 pages called Cerebellum. Ah, very interesting. DJ Pauly. Niacin does wonders for brain health also. Very good. Fasting can cause clarity. That's true, Marcavelli. T-Bird cut out the middleman in the food chain and get it from the source. There you go. Pulse Doge says, Maddie ALLin, HexTherapy.live, your opinion on treats. Should they be rich in omega-3 or compound omegas ands? Not sure what the last part of the question is, but I have a good story. I did have clients who started taking omega-3 and it helped their mental clarity. And then one of them took some omega-3 and gave it to their dog. And their dog went from being so misbehaved that they were going to get rid of it after several years to being a very good dog, very well behaved. And so, sure, yeah, you know, like, check with your vet first. I don't want to kill your dog. I don't want you to kill your dog by giving it too much omega-3s, but dogs eat fish and fish has omega-3. And so giving your dog one of your supplement pills, I heard from at least one person, worked out okay. Let's see. I'm just going to skip over the acid questions. I don't. Not able to speak on that. Let's see. 1,000 milligram a day, omega-3 for the first week, then 2,000 milligrams after that. And Maddie ALLin, noted friend. Awesome. Inviting freedom. It sounds like we have another person who's willing to try the Matty Mental Clarity Challenge. That is not financial or medical advice. Can you post that somewhere? I'm interested in checking it out. Which part? What I'm using, oh, here, I can type in the chat. I think that's a referral link, but you could just look at it and then buy it yourself. It's so it's just Sam's Club members mark Omega 369, which you can buy on Amazon or you can buy from, but I mean, you can just go to Walmart and just, or wherever you shop for groceries and get Omega 3 or Omega 369. Krill sourced, it's okay. Krill oil is a little bit different. It increases so like certain fish oils increase the absorption of the omega-3 itself. And so that effectively boosts the amount of omega-3 that gets delivered. Or you can just give yourself more of it with less things that help it absorb. Either way is fine. I worked with the guy once that had roid rage, and needless to say, he had brain fog. Yeah, being angry causes your amygdala, the part of your brain that responds to anger and fear, that triggers your amygdala, which sends inhibitory chemicals to your prefrontal cortex, which is where you do all your problem solving and emotional regulation. There are wires that go back to the amygdala to turn it off, and it's a race against time to see which part of the brain can turn off the other part faster. You know who's winning because you're either seeing red or resolving conflict, I guess. Don't buy it in bulk, it can expire, right? I've gotten 6 months at a time. Very good. I'm glad people are willing to try it out. Let's see. AOC needs to take it. I haven't kept up with her. Last time I saw her on Twitch lying through her teeth about Wall Street bets. How's it going, Sensei? Swear works. Planning for your future when your wealth is increasing exponentially is more complicated than I imagined it might be. I agree. And so what are some of the methods that we have, right, to take care of ourselves, right, and to be more successful at that planning? Well, we've already been talking about improving your prefrontal cortex, which the first step is taking omega 369. And you might notice effects after just 1 to 4 weeks. Then you will be working on self-care, which includes other behaviors that improve the functioning of your prefrontal cortex, such as getting better sleep, getting exercise, right? And these things, they don't have to happen in any particular order, but when you're on a roll to treat yourself better and to get yourself in better physical health, that translates into better mental health. So making healthy friendships, eating better, sleeping better, right? These are things that decrease the stress hormones that can run through your body and lead you to have anger outbursts or cause you to get worse sleep, which then makes you more irritable the next day and creates a downward spiral as opposed to an upwards spiral of improvement. So when it comes to staking, I would say have a plan. And then whether you stick to it or not, if you have something written down, if you have a staking ladder, that can relieve some of the pressure that I see some people having when they're making too many trades in Hex. And I would consider, even if you're doing daily stakes or doing weekly stakes, you might be giving yourself access to liquid Hex too often, to where it becomes more of a burden. And then staying grounded, building community, giving back to others, finding ways to create meaning, onboarding others, practicing gratitude for your financial freedom, taking your time, letting people know in your personal life that you have sun wealth so that you don't get overwhelmed by losing touch with the struggle, and then finding the right struggle for you, finding the right meaning, right? Because a lot of people, when they buy their freedom, it's a letdown because it's hard to know what to do next, and there are too many options. It's option overload, information overload. It's takes away all your levers that you're used to, where now you have too many access to many things that would be highly rewarding and that you normally wouldn't have access to except to wait. And so people can get into gratification overload, I'd imagine. And I'm kind of interested to hear whether people have been considering that they've been over gratifying or under gratifying since they have been staking in Hex. So I'll have to do a survey here on the community page. And if you haven't found that yet, I'm gonna drop a link, and that way you can go to youtube.com/MattyAllin/community and answer. We've had hundreds of people answering each of the questions here. 5 days ago, I asked if people are in the 1.000 T-share gang, pointing out that there are only 11 million in existence, and 73% say that they already have at least one T-share out of 545 people. Let's see, out of the 566 of you who voted, exactly 50% are in a relationship, 32% single, 6% unknown / it's complicated, and 12% say cryptic, just show the results. I asked if people still hold Bitcoin for nostalgia reasons only, and 26% of you said yes, you still hold for nostalgia only, and then 74% said you sold all of it for Hex. 688 people have voted on that one. And here's one. We only need 44 more people to answer it, and it'll be our first question that goes over 1,000 votes. Here it says, 3 weeks ago at 14 cents, my Hex bags are in profit or in loss. And 88% of people said that they were in profit at that point. That's when it was dipping back down to 12 cents, right? So 12% of people may have bought the top or misunderstood the question. Oh, wow. So this other question, has Hex made you a millionaire or billionaire yet in USD, even on paper, has 902 votes. And 25% of you who responded said, yes, I'm a Hex millionaire. And that was a month ago. We've done a double or two since then, haven't we? 75% said not yet. So that's, if we've doubled since then and you guys didn't sell your bags, then that's over $1 billion in economic energy watching the show. Cheers. Hexhound says, Matty, ALLin, Hex Therapy Live. I've started the omega-3 and it has been helping my vision. Thank you. My brain might need a higher dose. Remember not to go too high on the dose because it can lead to your blood becoming a little bit too thin. You want your blood to be the right thickness so that all of your cells can get the oxygen and the other things that the blood carries. So Mayo Clinic and other experts say not to go over 4,000 milligrams of omega-3 a day, and you have to count that which you are getting naturally. So people are already getting enough if they're eating salmon or tuna every day or every other day. So more isn't always better. You want to get just the right amount. I take about 1,600 milligrams a day, and that seems just right for me. And I'm not sure if you're talking about your mental vision or your actual ocular vision, but I can say that the rubbery material that omega-3 makes in the body, it is used for more than just insulating the electrical wires in your brain. It's actually helps make up the rubbery material that goes in between your joints to make sure your bones don't rub on each other too bad. I have seen a number of people with chronic joint pain where it was mild to moderately reduced. It was effective at decreasing pain, joint pain, probably because of omega-3. And then also it is prescribed by doctors or recommended by doctors in old age for eye health, because most of your eyeball is made also out of rubbery material. So if it helps your vision, that's outstanding. I fast the first 2 weeks of every year with some major biohackers. Interesting. Money printers printing hex every day forever. Keep restaking. I'm glad to see all the comments here. We've got a normal amount of people watching, but people are really participating in the chat. That makes me really happy. Spiritually and really difficult. The prolonged fasting usually turns into 1 month fasting near the end. Appreciation is easy with hex. Maddie, I'm gonna have a sit down and chat with you sometime soon. I'm starting to feel the sudden wealth shock. Well, Danny, I know you said part of your story was that you had been homeless, and so I would love to have you as a guest on the show and hear more about your story and what you're feeling and how we can help. That sounds awesome. That you would want to do a sit down. So go ahead and message me on Twitter or Telegram. If I don't respond, then message me again, please. Kick rocks haters. Well put. I haven't gone more than 7 days. I heard 3 to 5 constantly each year does the trick. Yeah, fasting. There's somebody I know that uses something called a Prolon diet, I think, which is just like a prepared version to make sure you get exactly 500 calories for like 5 days or something. But when your body goes through a fast, it turns out it can actually start to produce stem cells in your digestive system, which can prevent cancer and lead to better health outcomes. Would it be the origin of country of hex or just called hex? Excellent question. We'll have to vote on it. Good to see you, El Hexidente. Awesome. I haven't heard of this yet. Nice. Good. 2120 is 6.5 15-year stakes from now. Let's see. Follow hex streamers on Twitter. There you go. T-Bird, are you behind that? Yes, I heard as well. Definitely get this stem cell regeneration on top of autophagy. Must be prolonged, as you said, for the stem cell regeneration. Yes, such a beautiful cleansing spiritual cure. Crazy how much hex content is out there. Hard to keep up. That's right. Stack 6 Cuatro Cinco stakes, one after the other, and see what you have in 2120. How's it going, Jeremiah? Patty, nice, Maddie. No one can replicate the gods of hex and its community that helped build a floor so strong no corporation or entity could muscle it. Respect. Did you guys see the Pulse Doge meme? It's pretty badass. I did not. Tell me more. My pleasure to share the link. Hexhound. Friends and I growing our own sprouts and organic foods for refeed. Organic bone broth first day, electrolytes every day. Any other pro tips? I'm doing well. First time watching, enjoying the content, love the community. Well, we love having you here, Andrew. Thanks for joining. Let's see. How's it going? Negex and Frank, good to see you. And if you guys are new, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and hit the like so the algorithm shows it to more people. I did actually work really hard on the thumbnail. So I don't know if that brought anybody here, but it was a pleasure to be able to hex flex my creative muscles, and I really enjoy making content. I bet you can tell. So I'm glad you're here. Don't know who you are. Somebody says, come on, admit Pulse Doge is freaking awesome. I can only imagine. You don't have to shave any hair to do a spike mohawk. Just put a lot of gel and spike it up at 50 cents. All right, the live audience here is agreeing with you, so I guess I'll do it at 50 cents. Spike mohawk, not a buzzed mohawk. Let's be clear. Let's see. This is fun. I sense that we're starting like a continuous thing. Let's see. People are sharing their nutrition tips. Very good. Grapes and other melons. Add fresh pressed juices the next day, then adding other solid fruit and veggies cooked and raw third day. The Poolman Captain, fairly new to Hex. Love the streams, Maddie. Quanking also rocks. Thank you. My pleasure. And if you guys are enjoying Hex Therapy and Quanking, I know that you'll love tuning in this Sunday at 7 p.m. Central for Blaze and I to do our special episode of Hex Therapy, which will have a celebrity cameo in it and a lot of really good psychology talk. Blaze and I do an episode every month, and I think we're all in luck that it's coming up here. She is also trained in psychology and is very knowledgeable about Hex and behavior change. So we appreciate that. If you want to buy Hex, send XLM to Atomic Wallet, then swap XLM for Hex. Costs a fraction of a penny, and it's decentralized. Okay, I have not done that. But I know that Atomic Wallet technology is out there. Very good. Mark Reeves, good to see you. Danny, Maddie, you the man. My pleasure. Thank you for the kind words. Let's see. We will miss the days. Here's a good comment. We will miss the days of pre-viral. Soon, the chat will move so fast, this wholesome chat reading won't be possible. Anon, I think you're making some solid predictions here. I really got that vibe at the first Hex meetup. There were 350 people there, and we were all such a tight-knit group. Many of us knew each other by screen names, knew each other as familiar faces of people who stream in Hex. And I think this next conference, this next meetup, these are going to be really big things. And I also want to remind people, that a continuous Hex meetup has begun. And you can learn more at t.me/US road trip, where the duo of A-Bit Hex and Patrick Hex Lion have begun their journey as crypto Sparbuck and teaming up with FreedomTV.info They will be traveling to 40 cities near you, especially if you live in the United States. And they're going to be doing meetups at all those locations. Some will be parties. Some will be formal presentations and debates with the academic types. And so go ahead and check that out. Oh, we just had another order for pulsehex.com conference. Tickets are selling fast. I agree. We will miss the days of pre-viral. There are many ways to get the same spot. One way isn't worse or better, just different. Support everyone. Good point, David. Omega-3 is also necessary for canine health. And no lockdowns are good for mental health. I think, I think that there's definitely controversy, and that kind of takes me back to the rant I did about incompetence and evil, corruption being two main ingredients in the world as we know it before Hex, the world that uses fiat money to fund wars, and wars don't have winners. So that's why we appreciate the fact that Bitcoin paved the way for Hex to be a healthier version of money, in my opinion. My dog has 3 cardiologists in the last 5 years because of moving. They all made sure my girl was on it. Oh, that's right. Inviting Freedom. I heard your story somewhere that you're able to afford all the things that you need to keep your dog well now that Hex has been a big change. It's been a highly appreciative asset. What are your thoughts on fermented cod liver oil and butter oil? I do not know. Thoughts on isochronic sound therapy? Thoughts on infrared light therapy? I do know a little bit about near infrared spectroscopy, but that's a measuring brain signals and not necessarily a particular type of therapy. Although, in my opinion, when you combine it with, the different magnet technologies that are out there, intracranial nerve stimulation and that sort of stuff, it's gives you, it's a good form of imaging. Infrared light therapy, I mean, the different light therapies, I know the blue spectrum therapy is used to treat seasonal affective disorder, and that science behind that seems to stand up. If you use it at the right time in the right dose, it can be more effective than melatonin for setting your circadian clock. If you get a nice dose of sunlight that doesn't burn your retinas out. Let's see. I'm not trying to shill. Would love to stay in touch. People are supporting each other in the chat, and we have Dr. Moore showing up here. Namaste to you as well. Danny, has omega-3 been known to help with depression? Yes. Depression is a prefrontal cortex. It's shown, we see decreased prefrontal cortex activity in people who are depressed. Taking omega-3 can allow some people to think more clearly and not have the slowed negative thinking that's associated with depression. Can also facilitate people to become more behaviorally active. And behavioral activation is one of the main categories of things that help with depression. The more steps you take in your day, the less likely you are to be depressed. But depression is very complex, partially because there are many different types of depression, different causes. 10% of people are depressed because they are lacking vitamin D, which is in omega-3. Yay. So that's one thing that can also help. Let's see. Yeah, so to snap out of anger, bouncers ask logical questions to reactivate the emotional part of the brain. Practicing gratitude. Sudden wealth strength. Yeah, that was the name of our episode a couple weeks ago, wasn't it? That poll was for 1 t-shirt. I thought it was 1K. No, that's how many people. Blake's Odyssey. What if I need to buy a house abroad to escape from this tyranny? It'd be hard to sell Hex, but also need to get out for my freedom and health. Yes, that is something that we want people to understand. And apparently, I know that Funding Gym and others are setting up courses and educational materials in order to allow people to better understand certain tax advantaged structures and other mechanisms through which people might be able to obtain real estate and then rebuy their Hex with the money that they put into the real estate. So stay tuned for that. As I said earlier, I will be cross-promoting with Funding Gym, and I'm looking forward to that. HexDex16 says, I've been under-gratifying myself as I made myself a promise I would change nothing for 6 months. I've done several things to help others in the past 4 months. Mad respect. Like, shout out to you. I think that's a really cool plan. And I'd love to continue to hear how it goes. I know that you said you were going out to Montana not too long ago to help somebody in need there. That's outstanding. MF Hex says, done. Just ordered those omegas. Very good, very good. I appreciate it. Koshin says, Maddie, I can't get my belly fat to go away. Besides my bad sleep, nothing major, but I assume it affects burning fat in general. What advice can I ask to hear from you about this? Thoughts? I'm glad you asked. So, in my opinion, taking omega-3 can help with weight loss. It helped me lose 40 pounds that I didn't need. And that was not because it decreased my appetite, but because it increased my mental appetite for information. I started reading nutrition facts and approaching weight loss with a healthy attitude and approaching it systematically. And for me, that involves getting a Fitbit and then using Fitbit's app, which you actually don't have to buy any product from them. You can download their free version of their app and then start to track your calories. And for me, tracking my calories was a game changer, because what it did was it allowed me to, over time, I would go to the grocery store once a week, and then I would choose one thing that I'd get a slightly healthier version of. So if I was really into a super unhealthy type of potato chip, I would substitute that for something a little bit healthier. And by systematically going through my favorite foods and using other life hacks, such as not going to the grocery store hungry, such as kind of paying attention to how Fitbit allowed me to understand how many calories need to be in a deficit in order to burn a certain amount of fat, it gave me the confidence to be able to realize that I could make decisions when I was deciding how much to eat and what to eat that would translate to an exact amount of weight loss. So for example, a lot of medical institutes and Mayo Clinic and the like, they say don't lose more than 1 to 2 pounds a week. The reason for that is because your body is highly trained to avoid starving to death. And so your metabolism will actually change to adjust. If you take a dip in calories and then go back to eating what you normally would, you'll actually gain more weight than you had before because your metabolism has slowed down and your body's holding on to calories tighter. So in order to really trick your brain, I guess, and to not be going up and down in weight so much, to be on a more continuous and steady path, people find that losing no more than 2 pounds a week is highly effective. And so the Fitbit app, like other apps like MyFitnessPal, will give you the right, it allows you to track those calories, and then decrease only the amount that you need in order to reach. And I mean, alcohol is super high in empty calories, but just starting with the basics and just decreasing, or not even changing anything, and just tracking your behaviors is the first step, in my opinion. It helps. I think it helps to, for me, it helped to conceptualize that like exercise is not the main way that people lose weight, because your weight is based on the amount of calories that you eat, and usually if you exercise, then you just eat more calories. So it's the intentional calorie tracking and calorie reduction that causes the most significant decreases in weight. I hope that's helpful. So yeah, so what I did is I tracked my calories and I tracked my weight, and I realized I could decide kind of based on what I ate what my weight would be, and so that's really helpful. Future billionaires and millionaires in the chat, greatly deserving. Good point, Delusionist. Dangerously Stupid says joint pain doesn't exist if you're smoking one, FYI. There's also a product called Carotenol for eyes health. Okay, good. Carotenol. Nick Green, Hex Machine. Cheers, Hexkins, up and to the right in all aspects of life. Grow your own medicinal mushrooms. Pro tip, Paul Stamets. He was on Joe Rogan. Good night, Pulse Doge. Good night. First time thumbnail is nice. What is the channel about? Have a few questions. This is about mental health and crypto. Welcome. Hit the like and subscribe button, and hope you enjoy the show. Buzzed Mohawk's cool. Cut it out, Marcovelli. When mullet? I don't think we're gonna reach that price anytime soon. Spike it, Maddie, for Cuatro Cinco. There we go. Dr. Moore says, I need Blaze therapy. Thank you so much for your teachings and information. My pleasure. When I was working in a mental health clinic, I was only able to reach, 100 people a year sometimes, or maybe 200 or 300 people a year. Now we're reaching 1,000 to 2,000 people every week, which is totally exciting to me. This is allowing me to achieve my purpose and my goals of helping a greater audience of people have better mental health than I can just in my local community. So thank you for being here. You're a force for good. Keep up the good work. I will. What's your opinion on minimalist diets such as carnivore diets? Pulse Doge. Good question. What are you doing at $1? I do not know. It's an excellent question as well. Perm and Afro at $1. They don't all have to be hair things. Okay. Just took 2,400 milligrams of fish oil YOLO. There you go. Vitamin D3 is lit, fam. Hex going high. Thank you for addressing my earlier post. Like I said, I'm behind in listening. Just now took a fish oil from the bottle you gave me in Vegas. Yes. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm glad that some people were able to get that. I know we gave it out like after karaoke was done. So glad you stuck around. Let's see. Depression is removed by engaging in things that are meaningful to you and that make you feel like you're making progress towards a worthy ideal. Tin Top says at Pulse Doge, I'm good walking my dogs and getting my therapy in. There you go. It's not all chemical. Was this guy in Shark Tank? LOL. I'm Nicolas Cage. Let's see. We need to really think about our mental state at Hex $1, $2, $4, $5, $10. That's what I'm saying. Tears of Hex haters. Highly recommended. Depression starts with the company you keep. That's why I chill with the Pulse Doge fam. Yes, I lost 40 pounds. Can't imagine 40 pounds on me. Yeah, well, it's normal for adults to gain 10 pounds every decade or so and not be able to lose it. But again, I think we need to look at what are some of the ways, it's not all genetics. Your genetics just decide what switches can be on or off for making proteins. And the proteins are, even if the switch is turned on to make a protein, the protein has to be present in the environment and the materials to make such a protein. So it's really a combination. But again, I start with the prefrontal cortex and work my way through the rest of the body. Let's see. What are some chemicals you would recommend to improve brain function and sources you'd reconsider? I like omega, I like omega 369. I like vitamin C. I like to take 500 to 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C every day or two. What that does, in my opinion, is it boosts immune functioning. And your immune system is part of what, when it's not cleaning up the debris and inflammation in the body, it's able to add energy and kind of improve the functioning of neurons and other brain cells and your brain functioning in general to a higher level than just the basics. I don't count calories. I just don't eat animal products and eat a low-fat diet. My diet is like 90% vegan. If reality does not match the expectation of your worldview, you're going to be feeling depressed. Dude, thank you for talking about omega-3. I ran out, just ordered more. Thank you. My pleasure. Good job, Eric. I'm glad people are ordering. And willing to take action, because it's easy enough to take one omega-3 capsule per day, and that way you can see some real behavior change, and then and then realize that it's possible and then be inspired to change other behaviors. I don't drink alcohol or smoke. All that is bad for you. I would consider drinking wine though. I'm glad you brought this up. So I started taking a supplement that I actually need to order more of. I'm trying to remember what it was. Is it Resveratrol? So Resveratrol is, I believe that's what's normally in wine that gives people the health benefits that are associated with red wine, although it doesn't have the side effects of alcohol. And so that's something, it's kind of a life extension, health span type of thing. So I know you have to get it like pretty fresh. And so I'll try to figure out what the link is and let other people in on that. Ask me next week and I will have found it and ordered it, and it'll be easier for me to pull up and share with you. Okay, I'm gonna give you a warning. They were not telling people to go to PancakeSwap and buy Pulse Doge, and people are, people are smart enough to not do that. I think we should break out the top hats when Hex gets to $5. Oh, for sure. I think there's some low-key sneaky coin shilling happening in here. I agree. Maddie, ALLin, HexTherapy.live. One of the great things being in crypto, Hex, and sacrificing for Pulse Chain, I have not had a PTSD attack in nearly 2 years. Survival to thriving, better than money. Well, I'm really happy for you, HexTech16. I know that PTSD, that's one of the things that I specialized in was working with individuals with trauma of all kinds. And so that is a really powerful thing for me to know that the right cryptos have helped you with that. I would have had a bottle from Vegas, but RG3 took them all. I'm not sure if that's true, David, but I follow Dr. Okay. How do you say no to siblings who refuse to work but keep asking / demanding handouts? Set them up with some omega-3. That's the first step. What is my main diet? I like to eat tuna sandwiches, especially when there's less bread involved, because I think bread is evil now. I don't know. I don't know if my food habits are going to be the most helpful. Fruits and shit, right? Like yogurt's good for your gut. It's good for your biome. Daniel says, I can only get omega-3 tablets. Is omega-3 6-9 better? Omega-3 is good enough to start out with. People still have a noticeable effect. And there's no use getting caught up. You get plenty of omega-6 from the random food that you eat that you have no idea it's in there. Omega-9 helps a little bit. Omega-3 is what everybody needs. Go ahead and get your omega-3. The 6, you don't need any more of. The 9, maybe, but don't worry about it. Just go ahead and get the 3. Any specific good products dealing with those chemicals, vitamin C, omega-3, 6-9? I just do the generic versions. It's fine. And that seems to work well because they're such basic ingredients in there. Wine pills without the hangover. That's right. I'll buy a top hat at $5. There you go. We did top hats for the 24-hour live stream for Big Payday, and Hex was at in between what, 1 and 2 cents at that point. Mayo and the tuna. That's right, Justin. Less bread on sandwiches equals cutting off the crust. So I'm really glad that everybody tuned in. We just hit the 2-hour mark, and I hope that this has been helpful. Let me say a little bit more on the main topic of the type of pain that people experience. So I think, you know, the pain that people experience when they feel like they're missing out on the mad gains, that is a type of pain that is oriented only on the past and is really trying to make predictions about the future that maybe have less of an understanding of Hex and less of a grounding to the reality of you can't change the past. The present is the time to really start making a difference. And so even people who are starting now, if you're staking in an average length, average size staker of staking for 5.8 years, you are going to be getting the same interest rate as other people. And maybe more importantly, you are going to be time locked in before the exponential curve blows your mind. We are only up 5,000x. Bitcoin went up 10 millionx. There is a lot of ways to go, especially because Hex was able to do 5,000x with so few people involved. We are early. So that's one type of pain I think that people can really learn something from, right? Because that's what's going to make a difference now. It's not going to be obsessing about the past. It's not going to be regretting the past, thinking, oh, I could have, should have, would have gotten in, I would have bought more. That is not helpful. That's wishful thinking. That's out of touch with reality. The best thing to do is to put all of your energy into seizing the opportunities that are in the present moment. And those opportunities rely on you to possibly buy and stake, to set up a staking ladder. tshare.app is one way that people can use Apple Pay to go from your debit card to T-shares in minutes and then get community for years. So check it out. You're going to be at the Hex St. Louis event. That's right. I will be helping to organize it. So follow t.me/US road trip and then stay tuned. I'll drop the link in the chat here. So the other type of pain that people experience, I think, is just the stages of grief that go along with buying your freedom, with realizing that the world has been underperforming or has been stealing wealth. A lot of the wealth inequality, in my opinion, has been made possible by the abundance created by technology being hoarded by the few. And that's why it warms my heart so much to see people in the Hex community being so giving. And also, you know, striking that balance, doing what's right for them, and working on themselves, right? So I'm doing well in Hex, but I hurt from selling a board Ape for 1,200, now worth over 12K. Not sure exactly what all that is, but if you wish you would have sold more or sold earlier, I feel you. Look, I took 2 out of 3 of my Uniswap airdrops and spent it on making videos for the Hex community when I was brand new. And the value of those accounts now is too much to even say. So, but I don't feel bad because that was the point I was making. I still stand by, is I wanted to give back to the community, and I got free money, so I wanted to create value. And, you know, I pumped my own bag, right, by spending that money, and I sacrificed, and it's done, and I'm totally okay with it. Because I can't have it both ways, right? And that's part of what got me involved in the broadcasting side of things. So I'm kind of grateful for the opportunity to sacrifice for others. And, you know, it's not all about having as much as you can get on the money side of things, right? It's about doing things that you're proud of. And it's so I think I'm lucky that I just was kind of inspired to do that, and I was lucky enough to follow the instructions that Richard gave to get the Uniswap airdrop, right? And I will continue to sacrifice for the Hex community. Another way to say it is that I'm paying forward what I've gotten from others in terms of education, in terms of promotion, onboarding, time and energy spent, right? Because I do have a lot of hope for the world, as dark as it is these days. I have a lot of hope for the Hex community being different than other communities that have come along. That's another thing that I'm trying to do, is to set a good example by providing so many resources for free, by organizing things in a way that might cut out some middlemen, that might inspire others to operate from an attitude of abundance and an attitude of gratitude, as Kareem would say, and still kick a lot of legacy ass, like Wales would say, right? Authentics, my uni airdrop is worth over 200K since I sold it for Hex, but I didn't claim it until a few weeks after the coin came out. Okay, yeah, that's you know, a lot of people tried to switch it over to Hex as soon as they could. A lot of people got different prices. That uni airdrop seems like a distant memory. I had forgotten about how much I could have had at today's value. Hex and its mad juicy gains have been more, and it made you forget. Hexcoin 13, that's right. Yeah, it's been a minute. This is interesting. So Justin says, the more Hex gains I'm seeing, I'm making, the more frugal I get. Interesting. There are a lot of projects that I can't talk about because I'm not in charge of them, and I'm excited to be a part of them. And they're going to be really cool. And I can't wait for everybody to see all the stuff that the community is putting together. I'm really excited. We got some good stuff coming up for you guys. Let's see. So with that being said, I have spent a lot of time going through the chat, which has been energizing and uplifting. I'm ready to keep putting a lot of energy back in the community, because it's a give and take, right? And we're all in this together, and hopefully going to continue to have a lot of positive things come out of Hex, not just price appreciation, but also things that are going to change a lot of lives. Let's see. Go ahead and make sure to get your tickets for the pulsehex.com conference. And I'll drop the link for that one more time here. Check out the surveys on youtube.com/MattyAllin/community. Drop the link for that. Follow Richard Hart and all of your other favorite Hexican streamers. Great Delusionist says, thank you, broski. Have a great night. Got my tickets? Yes. Danny, thanks for everything you do. My pleasure. And let's see. Then there's also all my links you can check out. So there it is. Is this the old Hex Therapy intro? Maybe we should go out on that. That'd be interesting. Let me see what this is. Okay, yeah, we're definitely going out on this. So thanks for tuning in. Catch me on Saturday for the PulseHex.com conference update with T-Money from FreedomTV.info. Catch me on Sunday with Blaze Makes Music for Pulse Hex Therapy Live, special edition. And then Tuesday, Coin King. Thursday, Hex Therapy Live. Stake wisely, my friends.
I'm clicking the stake. There it goes. Start stake. Boom. I'm all in. I'm in, folks. I'm in.